Hey everyone, it's your professional sarcastic man and seeker of attention, Oz Chris here with a review of The Man of Steel number 6. We're at the end of Man of Steel. So, how did Bendis go for his last issue after the Abomination, which was issue number 5? Surprise, surprise, Bendis brought his A game back for issue number 6. It still has a few problems, but it's definitely better than the previous two issues. And you start off, and John decides he wants to go with Jor-El. So we start in the flashback. John decides he wants to go with Jor-El because he is still afraid of that potential future that's shown in that story, Super Sons of Tomorrow, where Future finds out about his future self, because he eventually became Superman, and then his solar flare power goes out of control, and he kills a lot of people because of it, and he wants to prevent that. Clark tries to reason with him. It's just like, don't focus on something that potentially isn't you. Like, that's another reality. Histories change, retcons happen. Crisis events happens and changes everything. It's no biggie. It's no biggie. Okay, but Lois is still kind of adamant she doesn't want to go because. But anyway, we go back and still a little bit iffy on this. It's like, hey, what technology is that? It's like, it's a bit. The dialogue for a little bit of this is still a bit iffy. It's just like, sorry, I don't recognize the technology. Are you attempting to speak to me? But I don't know why. Like, considering the fact that Rogar Zara is just like, I want to kill all Kryptonians. Why am I engaging in a conversation with one? Okay, I don't know. But it was all pretty much a ploy by Superman to goad Rogar Zara, and he takes the device out into space, and here we find out the whole reason why. There's a little bit in here before. The whole reason why John and Lois are missing is the fact they both willingly go with Jor-El, because John feels like it could help him, like, prevent his future, and Lois because it's like, hey, I've never been to space before, really, kind of, but I could get a book out of this, and because she wants at least one of John's parents to be there to look after him, and she promises that, if things are shady with your dad, we'll call you and you can come save us. Don't worry, we're not going to completely trust him yet, but we'll have faith that you'll be there with us. You'll be there in time to save us if anything happens. And the thing is, like, as usual, Bendis really doesn't know how to write kids. It doesn't seem like. It's just like, oh, hey, look, DC, I spotted an error. Hey, if Damien, I'm pretty sure that's a second A. It's not Damien. I'm just going to check that here. I'm pretty sure it's Damian, because I think he said it before. Damian Wayne. Yep. Spotted an error, DC. You should hire me to do your job. But yeah, this is a bit iffy. I know he's supposed to be a kid, but like, I don't know how Bendis knows how to kind of write John most of the time. It's probably why he decided, let's just send him off so I don't have to bother with having to write a kid. But anyway, with help from Supergirl, Supergirl pretty much sends Rogal Zar to the Phantom Zone. They kind of defeat him, and we find out about the whole John and Lois being missing, and end there. But it's a nice end to it's a nice end to Man of Steel. Like, it's not a bad issue. It is not a bad issue. Definitely, it is an improvement on the previous issue. Now, issue number 5, still in my opinion, was the worst issue. 4 was a mix. 4 is when the problems started to appear. Issue number 5, there was a lot of problems. Issue number 6, Bendis saved. Probably not his best for last, but something better than number 5. But the thing is, there is still a lot of unresolved stories, parts and plots to it. Like Jor-El, how the hell is he there? Is Oz Effect canon or not? What's like the full proper deal with Rogal Zar? The thing is, and this is what I've heard, Bendis does this a lot. He can't finish a story arc within its own story. And it's from these 6 issues, it's very clear that he couldn't. And from what I've seen, the whole Jor-El thing will be explored in Superman, and then I think Rogal Zar will be in Superman as well. So it's just like... The thing is, like, Rogal Zar was stopped, so that whole threat of Rogal Zar coming to kill them and destroying the Earth, that was stopped, but his whole deal, all of that was still left. So I'm kind of okay with that. But, like, the Jor-El thing, all of that, like... I'm still a bit iffy on that. Like, I would have preferred if they just left... Not left, if it was just properly just addressed in this, in Man of Steel. But it's not a bad issue in my opinion. It's not bad. Definitely better than number 5. Number 5 is definitely the worst of the issue, apart from like story and art and all of that. It was definitely the worst. Number 6 is better, but like I said, Bendis doesn't know how to finish a story, and this will continue on into Superman. I don't know about Action Comics, but it will seem like this will continue to some capacity in Superman. So final verdict on Brian Michael Bendis' first story with Superman, his miniseries Man of Steel with Superman. First 3 issues, definitely they were good. 100% they were good. Definitely, I think a lot of people were impressed. Given like with what we've seen with Bendis at Marvel recently, and then seeing him on Man of Steel for those first 3 issues, it's like, oh damn, like are you the same person? Are you sure? Because this is not Marvel Brian Michael Bendis, which was good. 4 was a mix. 4 is when a lot of the problems. 4 was when the problems started to appear, especially with the whole Jor-El thing, with Oz Effect and all of that, seemingly being forgotten until we're told otherwise. 5 is when 5 was definitely where it just went boom down. It was like going up and then went down with number 5. Not with just the art was good in some parts with number 5. Majority of the time it was not that good, and the story was just like, I don't know. And the dialogue was a bit iffy on a lot of the issues. I think that's just Bendis' style at this point. I think it's just having been used to Tomasi and Jurgens writing Superman. It's just different to see someone else write them. But like I said, the only grievances so far was like the whole not properly concluding the story in Man of Steel. Like I said before a few times already, it's going to be continued in Superman. So Bendis good issues. He's done about 4 out of the 6 issues were good. 1, 2, 3, and 6 are good. 4 is mixed, so I'll make that 4.5. 5 was just bad. 5 was just... I cannot say how much I did not like issue number 5, but issue number 6 definitely stepped it back up a bit. I still say issue number 1 was probably his best, but so here's the final decider. So I've been saying this all the time leading up to Man of Steel, to Brian Michael Bendis taking over Superman, that I would judge Man of Steel to decide if I will continue with Superman number 1 and Action Comics number 1001. Will I continue? I'm going to say yes. For now, I will continue with Superman and Action Comics, but I will still do it as you have your first story arc. Okay? Because this 4.5 of this miniseries were good. Were definitely good. I liked it for like the majority. Definitely want to see more of that Chief Moore, like that new firefighter lady Moore. She was an interesting character, but like after the first 3 issues, like she kind of just like was in like random parts, especially with this one in number 5, but that's to lead up into something as well in Superman number 1. It's interesting. I want her to be like I want her to be the Commissioner Gordon to Superman, essentially. And she had a good introduction. She was likable. She was great. I want to see more of her. So I will continue with Superman and Action Comics. So Brian Michael Bendis, you still got to read it with me. I'll still read your work. I'm still going to give you a story arc between those two. First story arc for each for Superman and Action Comics. You still got to prove it. Still got to prove not just to me, but to everyone, especially Superman fans, especially the Tomasi and Jurgen fans, if you can still hold out on your own. In my opinion, you have for the majority. You just got to watch out. Like, kind of ease it up with the dialogue a bit. Don't drag out everything. I don't want this, like, Jor-El and Rogal Zar thing to be dragged out for longer than it should be. Finish it, resolve it, go into something new. So that's it. That's it for the review. Leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow me on Twitter, check out my previous videos, and I will see you all next time.